We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is cast, and so it is. Hello. My name is Chubb. My pronouns are they, them, and this is Phasecraft Collective, your weekly check-in with the tarot to get the vibes, see what's possible, see what energy is available for the week to come. I'm doing a low ponytail today, and so I've got that tragic, founding father vibe going. It's fine. Everything's great. Everything's great. Who wouldn't want to emulate the founding fathers right now, right? This deck, I'm loving the art on this. This is the Floral Tarot, but it doesn't do a very satisfying shuffle sound. That was a little bit better. Anyway, so hey, welcome. If this is your first episode, wow, what a way to begin. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is a tarot podcast. This is a tarot reading podcast. Every week we're here together to do a collective reading. I've never really talked about what a collective tarot reading is. I think it's fairly obvious, but when I'm doing tarot readings for the collective, it is intended to be general guidance that, yes, can apply to anyone, but may not feel like it personally resonates deeply. The best way to get a personal reading that does resonate deeply is to get a personal one-on-one reading, which I always have available. You can do one live with me over Zoom. You can get one written or recorded and emailed to you within 2 weeks. So you've got options if you've ever been curious about what a personal tarot reading is like and you've never had one. So just thought that I'd throw that out there. Alternatively, if you've been curious about getting started with your own tarot practice and learning to read the cards yourself, I did extend early bird pricing for the next round of my Phasecraft beginner tarot course. I say beginner, but it really is beginner/intermediate. If you have a little bit of practice, if you've just pulled the cards on your own, but never read a book or taken another class, but you have some familiarity with the cards and their meanings, it's still very much beneficial to you. I'm really excited. I restructured it a little bit for 2025. So it's 6 weeks of 2-hour live classes that are always recorded and emailed out within 24 hours. It's incredible. And you can sign up for any individual class rather than the full course if that works better for you. So if you only want to brush up on your knowledge of the court cards, then come to the court cards class. If you, just want to learn a little bit more about the history of tarot, just come to the history class. If you want to learn more about how to use numerology and symbolism and elemental associations to interpret the cards rather than the written meanings in your guidebook, just come to that class. So lots of options. The early bird pricing, as I said, is available until this Friday. So on Saturday the 8th, the price increases. So right now it's at $333. You can also do a payment plan. So that just looks like 4 payments split up and paid every 2 weeks. So if you want to get that started, just shoot me an email. If you want to sign up for individual classes and you are part of the Black, Indigenous, people of color community, or if you are a trans person, send me an email. I'll get you the discount code for individual classes. Lots of options. But it starts April 3rd, so that might feel far away, but it's already March 2nd. So, it's coming, folks. And I'm so excited about it. Anyway, that's Phasecraft. Let's actually pull some cards, shall we? So, if this is your first time, we begin by taking a couple breaths and grounding together and do what's called casting a circle or setting container to just get us in the right space and energy to begin our endeavors with the cards today. So I'm gonna close my eyes and I invite you to do the same if it feels safe and good to do so. Otherwise, you can let your gaze settle down at your cheeks or land somewhere else out in space. Just take a couple of breaths. letting your shoulders rising and falling. Feeling your rib cage expanding and softening. Become aware of wherever your body is making contact with the ground, whether it's your feet on the floor, your seat in a chair, your back on a bed or a couch, however you are connected to the earth by whatever means. Feel that connection. Feel your weight settling in. Feel gravity holding it. The earth supporting it. Know that you are here, that you are present, that you are real, and that you are connected to all things through this point where we all touch the ground and therefore touch each other. Here I'm going to call to the spirits and guardians of the elements to help protect and ground this space. And as I name them, I invite you to imagine their essence, their force, creating a circle of protection around you. Maybe you see a ring of stones or plants or trees rising up from the ground. Maybe you ignite a ring of fire or see smoke or air swirling around you, creating a force field. Maybe the ground opens up and fills with water, creating a moat of energetic protection. Maybe you see all of these things or something else, something different that comes to mind when the elements arrive. Whatever you see is right. It is yours. I call to the spirits and guardians of the north, of earth, of the deepest roots and the tallest trees, the stardust that gave shape to this planet and to our bones. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the east, of air, of wind and breath, of thought and change. Hail and welcome. I call to the spirits and guardians of the south, of fire, the life-giving sun, and the powers of creation and destruction, cleansing and renewal. Hail and welcome. And I call to the spirits and guardians of the west, of water, of the oceans and our blood, the rivers and our sweat, the rain and our tears. Hail and welcome. We are surrounded on all sides, above and below, within and without, by love, protection, divinity, and magic. The circle is open. The circle is cast, rather. And so it is. Take a couple of breaths. And whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. Yeah, the circle is open, apparently. I mean, open in the fact that it has started. I think it's, we call it closing the circle at the end when we release everything. So that, I guess technically casting it would be opening it, like opening a ceremony. Sometimes when I do those circle castings and my words kind of stray from what I usually say, I kind of just take it as like an energy that wanted to be present, that decided it needed to be heard, and that's kind of fun. That's kind of interesting. And maybe I reflect on it later. Wow, we've got 4 cards right away that feel really good. They feel really good. If you are a paid subscriber to my newsletter, or if you are a patron on Patreon, which you should be, in our reading yesterday, we had Strength as our final card, and Strength is here again. And we also have quite a few Swords. three. We have 3 swords. We just got 2 more. And a wand. Okay, we've got like a lot of energy here. So far we have air, earth, fire, more earth. There's the water. There's the water. Okay, both the 7 of Swords and 7 of Cups are here, which I really think is interesting. Something is hidden. Something needs to be uncovered. Okay. Oh, and both the 4 of Swords and 4 of Wands. Okay, this feels good. Any last things we should know here? The Sun is our final card. I'm obsessed. Okay, so right away, and I mean, there's a couple similar themes to what I did in our monthly reading yesterday, because we also have the Queen of Coins, which has a lot of like similarities with the Empress, but we've got the Queen of Coins, the 4 of Swords, and Temperance to start us here. I love this. I think this feels like pure balance. The balance between rest and taking the time we need for ourselves, and action and creation and alchemy, because that's what we're talking about with Temperance. And Temperance is associated with Sagittarius. So there's this like very free, like go with the flow element with Sagittarius is a fire sign, but fire also kind of goes with the flow just as much as water does. It spreads wherever it can when not contained. They have those similarities. It's just that they're both powerful fuelers. Sure. They're both powerful elements of fuel and action and like movement, right? But with Temperance, we're asking to connect, to bring things together, to unite seemingly opposite forces in order to create and strengthen and build new connections, new tools, new actions. With the 4 of Swords and the Queen of Coins, the way that we do this is through rest and embodiment. Again, if you're a paid subscriber to my newsletter or a patron, I've talked about the past couple of weeks how I'm working on doing some sleep magic, and particularly this past week, I did some transmutation magic in my sleep, and I used the Temperance card in my spell to transmute energy and turn it into action and motivation. And how we do that is, again, through the body. Our magic is, yes, from our, spirit, essentially. It's intangible. But we process it through the body. We process it through our actions, whether it's the actions we use in a spell, whether it's the actions that we take every day after we cast our spell. In order to make the changes that you want to see, in order to jumpstart the actions that you want to take, the first thing you must do is give yourself space, time, rest enough to evaluate, to feel, to connect with care, with the body, to connect with all the ways in which your physical form, your physical space can provide the stimulation and the energy and the encouragement to get to where you want to go. And then, of course, we have strength. 7 of Swords and 2 of Swords. And then, as I mentioned, also the 7 of Cups. And this feels like a process for this week. And it needs to be said, Venus retrograde just started. And Venus is going to be retrograde for the next month and a half. And Venus retrograde is a little different than Mercury retrograde. I mean, all planet retrogrades are different because they have different energies. With this one in particular, in which why I think the 7 of Swords and the 2 of Swords together is quite interesting, is because Venus retrograde is going to ask you to reconcile your values, your actions, your intentions, your emotions, your connection to, your body, to, beauty, to love. And it will be through the strength and resilience of your spirit, of your heart, of your emotional self that you are able to do this. It takes emotional vulnerability. It takes emotional strength to really look at the ways in which we are avoiding what needs to happen, the ways in which we are avoiding choices that need to be made. And at the same time, it's possible that we're avoiding these choices because it feels like there's too much to choose from in general, or there's too many factors at play. But by ignoring or avoiding what needs to happen, what needs to be made, what needs to be moved through, we are just keeping ourselves in a stalemate. This week, really dive in. Really look at the choices you have made and the ones that you're ignoring, the things that you're putting off, the things that you're maybe overthinking, things that aren't working because you're trying to be as logical and intentional about it with the power of your mind, when in reality, a little emotional intelligence, again, and a little information from the heart would make your decision, your choice, that much easier. And remember that not choosing is in and of itself a choice. It is a choice to stay still. It is a choice to stay as you are. It is a choice to not move forward. But, if you do allow yourself these feelings, this process, then the new beginning that you need becomes available. The motivation that you need becomes available. Like I said with temperance, we're transmuting, we're alchemizing, we're shifting our energy from a state of stagnancy and maybe a little bit of like despair, uncertainty, into energy of motivation. Ace of Wands, the Emperor, 4 of Wands. The Emperor and the 4 of Wands especially, I mean, this is the jumpstart, right? This is the renewed energy you will feel if you, again, allow yourself that process. And then once you get going, it is the consistency, it is the structure, and it is the boundary that provides the stability that you need in order to thrive. We have this idea of like creation happening under stress or under scarcity or under pain. Like the starving artist is such a thing. And like so many great artists of history wrote from places of like poverty or pain or lack or, you know, whatever it was. But what really allows creativity to thrive is solid ground, stability, and resource. And sometimes resources, you know, are out of our hands. But solid ground and consistency, again, that is going to be the key here. So once you, again, get that spark, that motivation, this feels like a reading for me personally. So great. Thanks, universe. The key to actually making change is going to be finding the ways to make your creativity, your actions consistent, regular, stable. And with this fire, like both of these are cards of fire. The Emperor is associated with Aries, and the Four of Wands is the card of fire. But it's stability in fire, which is not necessarily something that sounds real. Like fire is very volatile, very unstable. But the Emperor, well, sorry, just hit my mic. I will adjust the volume there. It is the Emperor that provides the stone pit to hold your fire so that it can burn safely, consistently, and longer. Find the boundary that you need. Find the structures that you need to impose upon yourself to let your motivation, again, thrive and last as long as possible. And finally, we have the Sun, right? The key, there are lots of keys that I've talked about so far, but the key really lies in your belief in self, in knowing that you can do what you set your mind to, that you can make things happen for yourself, for the world, that your light is bright enough to illuminate whatever darkness you face. Not necessarily to abolish it, because darkness, we need it sometimes, right? But to provide enough light to see by so that you can find what lies in that darkness and either choose to work with it or through it. Bottom of the deck here is the Star. So yeah. Self and believing in self and believing that what you have is worth sharing, and hope that the future is brighter if we choose to make it so. Wow, beautiful. That's incredible energy for the beginning of our month. Wow. Okay, I love it. Thanks, Floral Tarot. Unsurprisingly, this very beautiful deck is very kind. Here's the card backs. Aren't they gorge? Okay. Well, that's the reading. So let's go ahead and close our circle. If you like, you can join me once again in closing your eyes, taking a couple of breaths. Reimagine whatever elemental barrier you put up around yourself, whether it's water, fire, smoke, air, stones, plants. Take a big deep breath in. And as you exhale, release that barrier. Dissipating air, extinguishing fire, sending water, stones, plants back into the earth, opening the circle and releasing the energy. I release the spirits and guardians of the west, the south, the east, and the north, sending you back to your place in the natural order with praise and with gratitude. I now send the energy of all those watching and listening back to them whole, complete, and intact. I take my energy back to myself whole, complete, and intact. May we remain friends, though our energies are no longer crossed, corded, or tangled at all, starting now. Take a breath, feel your energy settle into you, all yours. The circle is open, and so it is. All right, my friends, that's this week. And again, wow, what a lovely one. I really liked that. So, yeah, once again, Phasecraft. Last week to get the early bird pricing before it goes up to $444 on Saturday, March 8th. Additionally, yeah, Patreon. Patreon is a fun time. There are a couple things in the backlog right now. There's a few spells. There's our first ritual replay of making a good luck bundle or spell jar together for the Leo full moon. We will be doing a spell circle for the manifest tier and up, so $22 to $33 tiers. You will be getting a spell circle for the full moon next week. Next Friday. And yes, it's an eclipse, and yes, we're doing a spell because you can do magic on the eclipses. You can. It's fine. It's fine. It's all just energy to work with. So it's not too late to get in on that. Plus you get like all sorts of fun stuff. You get, you know, my weekly like personal practice recaps. You get the podcast a day early. I've been kind of dropping in other things here and there. I do a live monthly Q&A, like hangout sesh, for the, oh my gosh, Insight tier. So there's Abundance, which is $8, Insight, which is $11, Manifest, which is $22, and Divinity, which is $33. So I do a monthly Q&A with Insight and Up, which is it's just a fun chill vibe. We just all get on Zoom and hang out together, like nothing crazy, nothing wild, no agenda, just chilling. And I will be uploading a bonus class sometime in March. Last month for the winter class series, I changed one of the classes from pop culture tarot, Culturecraft, or not pop culture tarot, magic in pop culture. So like a class just like all about like how magic is represented in movies, books, all that good stuff, and changed it to the resistance magic class. So I will be pre-recording and uploading the Culturecraft class at some point in March. There's also going to be a winter magic class coming out in March and a spring magic class coming out in April for certain tiers. So anyway, I'm babbling. But come join the Patreon. Come join Tarotcraft. We're having a great time. But yeah, that's all from me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And I'll see you next time.